So, good afternoon, everybody, and I'm welcoming you for this beautiful Zoom webinar with our dear family, Dr.J.R.Raju family, which are very famous all over the world, and we can say they are the source of Ayurveda, not only in India but for the whole world, and that precious knowledge. And I am very happy that I came to know Dr. Raju and his family almost 30 years back. And I witnessed so many wonders he is doing. His specialty in the pulse diagnosis and Dravya Guna and the herbal science and on the Marma science and all aspects of Ayurveda, he is great expert. So I'm greeting you on the behalf of the Embassy of India here in Croatia and the office of the Ministry of Ayush in Croatia and the ICCR also. And the ambassador of India had some meeting obligations. He couldn't participate at the moment, but maybe later. And I send you his greetings also. And just to shortly to introduce our dear guests and speakers, I just say a few words about them. So the Vaidayacharya, Dr. Raju, and he was the famous in that field of pulse diagnosis, and he was working many years with famous Vaidya Badraj Maharishi, who had the knowledge of 5,000 herbs, and he was unique saint, we can say, and he had the ability to speak with the herbs. And Dr. Raju often was telling us his stories which he had with Badraj Maharishi, which are very fascinating. And Vaidayacharya, Dr. Raju, he served His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi for spreading the knowledge and benefits of Ayurveda worldwide. He taught Ayurveda and pulse diagnosis to thousands of medical doctors all over the world, and he has developed courses for those doctors and lay people also, and students at all levels. And also I want to mention that Dr. Raju contributed enormous contribution for the unique approach of the pulse diagnosis, which the treasure was in their family, and he shared that treasure about the real and correct process of the pulse diagnosis to the other Vaidyas and medical doctors all over the world to be trained in a proper way. And his numerous positions he had, and he was advisor to the Health and Family Welfare and the Government of India, and working with many prime ministers, making their diagnosis of many countries and many famous people. And also his family, his daughter and the son are also excellent Vaidyas and trained by their father. And Vaidya Pavani Raju, she is a specialized in the pulse diagnosis also, and she has a deep understanding the root cause of imbalances in the physiology. And Dr. Pavani also specialized in Panchakarma and Sukshma Marma therapy, and a rare and potent therapy to transform the biology at a deep level and promote the body to heal itself. And Vaidya Pavani is known for her abilities to help heal gynecological conditions and enliven healthy, divine, feminine qualities in her patients, in addition to helping all genders in all areas of health. And one unique speciality of the Raju family is that they also know the method of rejuvenation of the ladies' organs, those who had problems for getting pregnant or different diseases of the uterus. I witnessed this, that they are experts in curing those conditions. And also our dear Harsha Raju, Vaidya Harsha Raju, the son of Dr. Raju, and he is a pure heart, the person, and he radiates that beautiful qualities of the Ayurvedic doctor. And it was always that the Ayurvedic doctor should be example of what he teach. And the Raju family is really shining family, full of ojas, and shining that ojas and vital power, virya, to all the surrounding, not only by their knowledge that they are teach, but they are also giving benefit to all by their presence. And he's expert also in pulse diagnosis, in the Sukshma Marma therapy also, and medical astrology with advanced degrees specialization in both general Ayurvedic practice and Panchakarma. Ayurveda's primer, detox, and rejuvenation therapy. Dr. Harsha has extensive experience in consulting and teaching in India, Europe, and other locations in the world. Vaidya Harsha Raju emanates bliss and the healing comfort to all those fortunate to be in contact with him. So there is much more to say, but we would like to start to enjoy their wisdom. And topic of today webinar is Ayurveda for Disease-Free Society and the self-pulse reading. So please, Dr. Raju and Harsha and Pavani, you can start with your presentation. Namaste, Jai Gurudev.
Thank you for such a wonderful introduction.
So now Ayurveda is known all over the world. It is the most important science for the life, which covers all aspects which are needed for our physiology to be healthy. So this knowledge, it was not known and it disappeared sometime before because of so many different reasons, different colonialism and all these things, and particularly after the Second World War, the industrialization and all these things, even the food also actually, it is before the food was everywhere, I have seen all over the world, and there was Ayurveda everywhere, in every country, particularly in every kitchen. And in India, even till today, Ayurveda, it is still existing mostly in the kitchen. And when we first traveling to the Western countries, so all the herbs, we are not aware of it and new, and not enough time to go to the forest, and all this is new, and we were not thinking of when we were seeing on the way and surrounding areas, the herbs, they were different. So we did not have enough time to see. So what we did, we started to practice with the kitchen herbs. Those are very simple herbs like that: turmeric, curcuma, cumin, ajwain, ginger. Ginger, it is called Vishwabheshaja, means the medicine for the whole world. It is available everywhere. Other things, some may be available, may not be available. Garlic, like there are so many things in the kitchen which are available. So in ancient days, always the kitchen garden, house garden, and village garden, and for cities, big gardens, herbal gardens, they were there. and mostly the sufficient herbs. And actually, if we see, when we are seeing, because particularly whenever I was traveling from the airport to the wherever we are moving, I was looking for the herbs which are available surrounding. Why? Because always Mother Nature provides what we need. According to that countries, that area's diseases, the Mother Nature provides that particular herbs. Based on that, I was estimating what kind of the diseases they are mostly in that area, in that country, in that city. And according to that, I know that these herbs are available. And slowly, when I was more aware of it, then I started to find out more and more. And when we went first time to Brazil, Amazon forest, there we have found a lot of herbs which are similar to Indian herbs also, so many, about 450 or above 500, I think. So then we started to formulate some things, and even in Croatia also, Zagreb, Croatia, these areas, when we went to the forest, we found a lot of similar herbs. Everywhere these are available. And Ayurveda was introduced for some countries because of the rules and regulations as single herbal tea. Even till today, you can see most of the Western countries, almost all over the world, the single herbal teas are available. And in Asia, you can see some combination of the herbs, 2 or 3 combination of the herbal teas. But when it came to when the India gave the knowledge to some knowledge to Iran and to China, there are like up to 10 herbs combination herbal teas are available. So according to that advanced knowledge, it was given. And in the kitchen, all it is because what we eat, so we develop. If you are eating good food, if you are eating the healthy food, then it is promoting the health. If we are eating wrong food, if we are eating disease consciousness food, then automatically they are generating the diseases. Very simple principle. So because of that, most of the diseases, they are coming mainly through the diseases and the environments and water. In Ayurveda already it is said, it is the quotation, yasya desisya jantuhu, means whoever, those who are born, the creation in that area, for them, the local available herbs, the food which is grown in that particular area, and the water, these are the best for them. They have to use. If any other things are there, they can get from other countries and other places. But mostly they should be using that particular country, that particular area's herbs. And another thing, the simplest principles which are developed in for the Ayurveda, the simplest technique, very simple, very easy. It was before we were teaching in the most toughest is pulse diagnosis. Everybody was thinking all over the world, this concept was there. But the easiest, my grandfather was saying that always, since from childhood, we start teaching Ayurveda, particularly teaching that pulse touching for the children from the age of 2.5 to 3 years. From 3 years, we start to teaching some different quotations and shlokas and the knowledge like that. So then automatically they never can forget. They become more strong. And whatever we are eating, we are explaining about that food. This should be like that. But still, the knowledge is disappeared. Because after the Second World War, everything, they wanted to make it like industrialization. So the biggest thing, what happened, the food industry. When the food industry came, the herbal medicine and individual kitchens, they disappeared, and the knowledge of the health slowly disappeared, and mostly dominating disease conscious theories, the concept of the diseases. Even if you see with the modern medicine teaching, maximum it is explaining, teaching about the diseases. But in Ayurveda, it is mentioned, if you go on knowing, teaching, or learning about the diseases in Kali Yuga, this what we are living now is called Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, there are endless diseases. You cannot even find the name for the diseases. It is very difficult. And human memory, it is not enough to remember all the diseases and all the medical science. Because of that, they said that the time it is divided into 4 yugas: Satyuga, Dwapara, Treta, Kali Yuga. We are living now in the Kali Yuga. So they said that for Kali Yuga, our brain capacity also will be reduced, our memory, and then thinking, even our food hunger, all these things start to reduce. Because of that, Ayurvedic knowledge for Kali Yuga based, they reduced so much. What we are studying the Ayurveda, it is not even 100th or 1000th maybe. And still it is not enough. Even if you see with the modern medicine, with 100, 200 years like that, so when it is growing with the research, just within few hundred years, so it is becoming too much. There are more and more specializations are coming. Before it was only one cardiology, but now in the cardiology also so many sections, and pulmonology and respiratory, all different things. There are so many divisions. So in Ayurveda, they simplified. They said that it is mainly on the 5 elemental principle. And that also, 5 elements also, when you make, it becomes so many permutations and combinations, innumerable. So they simplified into 3: Vata, Pitta, Kapha. For 3 also, they made it so simple, 3 fingers. It is on the tips of the 3 fingers, the whole knowledge of the health. How simplified it is. And they said that don't try to remember the names of the diseases. So try to remember only 3. All the play it is with the combination of, with the proportion of, ratio of these 5 elements which are distributed into Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So that is so simple. So this knowledge, this consciousness-based knowledge, and this the subjective referral knowledge, which it was disappearing, and because of that, everybody was thinking that learning the pulse knowledge is the most toughest and difficult thing. But always my grandfather was teaching, maternal grandfather, always making it every time. It is very simple knowledge, very simple. Just with the touch of the 3 fingers, you can get the whole information. Practice is most important. So this is knowledge is not much. And when I started to, when Maharshi asked that we have to give this knowledge to everybody, we want to create the disease-free society. To create the disease-free society, we have to give the most important, the most valuable, even though the simple knowledge, the knowledge should be simplified, and the Ayurvedic knowledge is very important to save the world. We are seeing now how the diseases are growing up, and all these things with the COVID, everybody can understand how difficult situation we have gone through. So what happens, because why the pulse is very important. There are so many types of the different diagnostic methods in Ayurveda, which is explained. 1-fold, 3-fold, 5-fold, 8-fold, 10-fold diagnostic methods. But amongst 8-fold diagnostic, it covers most of the things and easy. So what it happens when the disease is in unmanifested level, it can be seen, it can be found through the pulse. Because what is the pulse? Pulse, it is the frequency, the rhythm, the language of the different organs, different items, different matter. Everything, it is having its own pulsation. Like this wood, it is having its own pulsation, vibration. By looking at it with that vibration, or by touching with the sound, with the different things, you can, that pulsation, you can feel it, and this is wood, and this is glass, and this is plastic. In the same way, in our physiology also, all the different organs, they have the different frequency. Because of that, due to the different frequency, that certain structure, it is making like liver. That has its own frequency, because of that it is called liver. Lungs, that frequency is different. All these different organs, they have their own language. Like for example, the big group of the orchestra, when they use all the instruments, but the chief of the orchestra knows by listening to all the group. There may be so many hundreds of different music instruments. So by listening to them, he can say, oh, violinist is very good. Drums, very good. Oh, somebody is making some wrong mistake. By listening, he can say. In the same way, when we listen to the pulse, we can say the same way. And another thing, by listening to the pulse, you can find out even unmanifested level of the problems. But when you cannot go, or when you cannot attend the Vaidya, physician, then what happens? The disease unmanifested starts to slowly becoming manifested. Where first it gets manifested? In the urine. So there is very special kind of the examination of the urine in Ayurveda, which is explained. When I went to the different countries also, they also have, like for example, in South America, they are having the different tests. They take in the glass bottle and looking at, they say that this kind of the disease according to this urine, like that also they say. In Ayurveda, that kind of the examination also there, and furthermore, by using different herbal concentrations, by putting that, the color of the urine, like for example, in cancerous conditions, different cancerous, different things, but mostly it becomes blackish when you put that herbal extract. And for different diseases, the different things, and when you put the different concentrations, which direction it is moving, and all these things you can find out through the urine. So then, if you still, you cannot focus on the disease, on that what it is happening in your physiology, then the next manifestation is malam, means the excretory factors, mostly the stools, and even in that the sweat, earwax, eye secretion, nasal, all these things also are as the excretory factors. By looking at with the examination, you can find out. So this is third stage. And then next is on the tongue. When the disease is getting manifested more and more, the tongue, it is getting that kind of the some kind of the changes. Like sometimes you can see like different coating or some kind of the tongue swollen, discoloration, and even sometimes you can see that the teeth impression on the edges of the tongue, and sometimes only on one side the teeth impression, sometimes two sides, sometimes even on the front side of the tongue, like that. And then splitting of the tongue in the middle or on the sides, like that, or ulceration or different things. And if further it is changed, then the voice gets affected, because the voice is also certain kind of the frequency, that pulsation. With that pulsation, you can say, like, for example, even though you don't have any training of any things, and particularly with the voice, you don't have the training, but by listening to your mother's voice, oh, my mother is speaking, my mother is calling, my sister, my daughter, my friend, my so-and-so friend, like that you can recognize through the voice.
Today, one incident happened regarding what my father is saying. We were teaching children in the here in India, government schools. We're very innocent till grade 5, and they all gathered. It was the last minute, only 1 hour class, and we just taught introduction of pulse, where to feel, how to feel, boys right hand, girls left hand, and just started. And after the conversation, the children were not satisfied that they didn't get enough knowledge. So they gathered me and asking different questions. Am I feeling it right and everything? And then one person said, how will I feel everything? Through pulse. You know, how can I? Because I'm not able to comprehend that with pulse, I can see all that. So then one question I asked, can you guess, with my voice or different, your friend's voice, one said stomach ache and one said is having a headache because they didn't eat, and all these small things. But with voice, can you pick up who is in which condition? If there is, someone just wake up from sleep and different things. So the boy was just addressing, yes, this person, I can feel this way. He has low energy, and someone has fever or they're happy. And I asked, am I sounding happy or am I sounding angry? You're happy. So everything we gave examples of then and there, and similarly the appearance. By looking at somebody, can you even guess a little bit, what type of state they are? So if these are possible, then feeling pulse and the wavelength has its own answers, its own language. So if you study that, all the normalcy in your physiology, then don't you think it's very easy to also figure out the abnormality in the pulse? Then the follow-up question of the children was, okay, then, but why, and why do we need to feel the pulse to know all that? And I said, in your class, with your teacher or at your home, don't you complain whenever you are sick or any problem you have? Then don't you tell to your mother or father or your teacher? I say, yes, we tell. And then don't you forget about it, because now you're relaxed because they know and they will handle, they will take care of it, and you feel better? They said, yes. So then same thing, when you're feeling the pulse, you're informing that self. You're creating the awareness of the imbalances, and then you can be relaxed. Let the pulse do the healing. So which,
Yes.
And also at that age, if you teach them about health, that's more important. Then they can, always be in that health consciousness. Because nowadays, everybody, even after COVID or even before, we see on TVs or newspapers or everywhere, they're just teaching about diseases. So like always, oh, nowadays heart attacks are more, or, all these things. So like strokes, brain strokes, all these things. So you're just giving everybody the disease consciousness. So everybody is living in that consciousness and always discussing about diseases. Oh, I have these symptoms and stress, anxiety, depressions, all these words. But it's very easy to remember health. Health is only one, and diseases are many. So to remember, as my father was also saying, that in Kali Yuga, the memory is also low, like not as in other yugas, we have short memory. So to remember so many diseases, it is really difficult, and also not to be in that disease consciousness. So health is only one. It's very easy to remember. And so always focus on health. That is most important.
And as Pavani said that, with the pulse, feeling the pulse, with the self-pulse reading, because when you are born healthy. And why? Because if you are born healthy, at least if it is in Kali Yuga, we are supposed to have the 125 years age as according to Ayurvedic standards. And even Jyotish also, it is the human lifespan in Kali Yuga is 125 years. You are supposed to be healthy for 125 years. So with the self-pulse reading, you are putting that message into your self-consciousness. And through the self-consciousness, your group consciousness, your family consciousness, and the whole world and whole universe consciousness, slowly you are as Mahashi's principle. That group consciousness is very important. So you are spreading that health consciousness to everybody. And because of that, that is most important. So the only without the knowledge of the health, and particularly without understanding the health, automatically, if you don't understand the health, then your mind, your brain will be attracted to the negative, the opposite, disease consciousness. So immediately when they were young, Harsha, Pavani, Aditya, when they were young, Maharishi was sending them to the very small schools, kindergarten, very young children. They were teaching over there. They are very innocent. They were able to feel the pulse. They were saying that, oh, I'm feeling in this finger, in this finger, in this finger. And they are so happy, and they are saying that, oh, something is jumping, something is running, like that. I don't want to say all these things now because you have to learn the pulse. The most important secret in the pulse is how much innocent you are, that much you pick up the pure knowledge. How much you are mixed up, that much the confusion. What always it has happened all these years, all these centuries, the knowledge when it is mixed up, then you cannot, when mixed up, you cannot find anything. Today, as Harsha was saying, when they were feeling, asking that, automatically they started to say that, oh, I'm feeling in my index finger. Then he was saying that, oh, it means you did not sleep properly yesterday night. Yes. And your bowel movements are not clear. They said, yes. How do you know? That is your pulse. And then somebody said middle finger. Then he said accordingly, oh, something you are hungry, even though it is morning, but still they are hungry. So like that, all this information, it gives the knowledge of the health, because it is vibrating. When you teach as they are very young, then they can pick up the most information of the health. As they are grown up, because they are forgetting the health and getting into the disease consciousness. So they are picking up the diseases, because even how we are trained, even though we are looking for the positive knowledge, positive information, but what happens when you get up immediately in the morning, if anybody is saying something, what happened? Tell me, if anything serious, or if anything negative, anything like that, you force for them to give some more information or some negative information, some kind of the different information. So we are trained like that because the consciousness is growing. And in the same way, the diseases also, as I said, that you can recognize in the voice. Like for example, when you are, if you are phoning to somebody, the person may be in deep sleep. So you wake them up, and when they pick up the phone, oh, I'm sorry, it looks like that I disturbed from your sleep, deep sleep. How can you recognize? Because the voice. And if anybody catches cold, you can say it looks like that you are suffering from some cold, running nose. It changes with every disease. And if it is furthermore developed, then it goes into the sense of touch. So the touch, because of that, the touch of the skin is the most important organ. Through the skin, you can get a lot of information. And next, drip, eyes. There are changes started to come in the eyes. Now in the Western world, Ayurvedology it is developed. Of course, you may not be, still it is to be developed, but there is a lot of the information you can get from that. And then the next, eighth one is Akriti, deformity, like the deformity of the organs, like when we are talking about the tongue deformity, cracks, that is deformity, that is not the original structure of the tongue. And like liver enlargement, or fatty liver, or stomach swelling, or ulceration, such kind of, because it brings the deformity. And if it is further more deformity of the different organs, which you can see even from outside with your eyes, this is the information how you can get with different kind of the knowledge. But the most important is pulse. And even that also, the most important is self-pulse reading. Because if you have the awareness of the pulse, then you can establish you are not only going to change yourself, you are going to change within your family, within your street, village, country, world, continents, world, whole universe. Why? Because Ayurveda, it is everywhere. Even if you see the history of the Ayurveda, what it is said, Brahma Sprutvo Aisho Vedam. Where from this Ayurveda knowledge came, it is, Brahma means the creator. So creator means creator should have the total knowledge of what it is needed when the creation is happened, and what food, what environments, what facilities, and all these things, houses, and all these things like that, even with the knowledge also. So then only he can create accordingly that creation. That is the creator. When mother is giving birth to the child, before that, all the, you see the creation capacity in the nature, only three are having. One is the creator called Brahma, and second is mother, and third it is the earth, the planet, Mother Earth. It is not given this capacity, this ability, other than three, nobody is having. This is the way how it is carried, because they have the total knowledge what it is needed. But for Ayurveda, because the health, it is very important before creating anybody. So health is the most important. So what happened? Brahma recollected, rememorized that knowledge. Means it was even existing before the creator. He may be collecting from the previous Brahma or somewhere like that. It is not only on our planet. It may be somewhere, something. So because of that, it is said, it clearly mentioned, Brahma Smrutva Ayurvedam, Prajapati Majigraha, Soshnato Sahasraksham, Sotriputradikan Muni. We need not go into all the details, but this is how the knowledge came. So you may be thinking that, how it is possible? If you learn, you can understand. It is not enough time to learn the total knowledge within this short period. But what we do, we give the basic fundamental knowledge. We give such kind of that information because all of you know, the whole creation, it is Sarvam Dravyam Panchaphotikam. Everything it is made of, whatever is existing is made of 5 elements. Whether it is any country, anywhere, this is modern physics, whoever speaks is 5 elements. So what that understanding is given is about the 5 elements. So based on that, you can balance it. And if you know yourself, automatically the self-awareness, what it is making, it is awakening that your inner consciousness. It is making your memory, in your memory, it is connecting you with your original memory. When you are born with the health consciousness, whatever it is, the health for you. If anybody is with the some hereditary problem or something, that is different. But even that also, they are accepting, like it is not, they are not looking like sickness. The difference you can see. But further not to develop into other things. Why? Because I am saying always the nature, because where we are living on this planet, it is called Mrityu Loka. Mrityu means death. Whoever born on this planet, they can live whatever the time they want. There are the methods, there are procedures in Ayurveda which are explained. If you want to live, suppose if it is Kali Yuga, 125 years, that is your right. You can live without doing anything. If you do properly, particularly if you are understanding the health and good routine and all these things. But if you want to live 500 years, still it is possible. The knowledge is there. 1000 years, possible knowledge is there. Like Mahabharata, it is like actually the First World War, it is supposed to be considered that is the Mahabharata war, the biggest war in India which has happened, and from all over the world participated. And at that time, the grandfather, his age was 30,000 years. Because he wanted to make sure that kingdom is secure. Till that time, he did not want to leave his body. He was living. So he has, and later he wanted to, when he felt that secure on the battlefield, now I am confident, the kingdom is secure, and this knowledge cannot be misused anymore further. It was so much misused, the war knowledge. And then he was, till that end, he wanted to live in the battlefield. He was living on the bed of he asked his grandchildren to make the bed with the arrows. He was living because warrior cannot live on the comfortable bed. So he was living on that arrow bed. So if you see that Mahabharata, it is well known, so you can find out. So this is the way how the knowledge and how our consciousness to be developed. What you are doing with the self-pulse reading, you are making cell-to-cell information. You are making the communication of the cell-to-cell information. And then that cell-to-cell information, it is communicating with the organ to organs, and then system to system, and then the consciousness, and then the whole brain knows what to be done. We don't need such big brain for our daily activities and so much what we have to do and eating and all these things to do all our duties and all these things. Why we are given such big brain? Because it is like the total whole universal knowledge. It is the biggest library of the total universe. Like, for example, if you understand all this knowledge, Vedic knowledge and Ayurveda, these which are that subjective referral knowledges, they are to get dived into, to get into that library and know about whatever the information it is needed. So we need not go. I think now you are enough to understand that what I was saying, that cell-to-cell information, organ to organ, and person to person, family, like that, you will be changing in your whole physiology. The total consciousness gets into the memory of health. Memory means that is called smriti. That memory is most important. You are enlivening that memory by feeling that self-pulse reading. So we can teach.
And before just this topic, because we can listen after knowing so much of the knowledge, we still feel so much we are gaining from what my father is speaking. So we're just before starting the self pulse, I always feel like I have to remind this, because when we were children, we are lucky that because of our parents, we got introduced to Mahashiji and the Vedic knowledge at such a young age. Since we were age 3, we were practicing pulse. But every time we met Mahashiji for his darshan, he would always remind us, are you feeling the pulse? As if like we are feeling, but why is he reminding? And then we would just feel, oh yes, we didn't feel. And then out of that reminding, then he started saying, calling us Vaidyas before, when we were even 5 years old. And then he would call, okay, here comes the Vaidyas who are going to create disease-free society. So again, it was like an implant, and the idea went in that, oh, we are going to create. So everywhere we would go, and if somebody would ask as children, we would just innocently say, we will be creating disease-free society. And then at one point, because all the Ayurvedic knowledge was taught in our family through the kitchen, through the daily activities, and through pulse. So we felt like we're learning through the shlokas, and the emphasis was always partha matrena siddhyate. So just reading the shlokas, not even the meaning. And suddenly we were age 8, 9, and Mahashiji calls us without my father and says, you have to go and teach to other children. And then after a few meetings, he put us to test teaching smaller groups. Then he would even call with my father and us and give us like tasks, like you go to this big school and teach all the children, right from kindergarten to even grade 6 or even higher. But what was the beauty is, one, when we were teaching pulse, we realized it's so simple, so easy, so effortless to even kindergarten. Especially they were the easiest. Because that pure innocence. And that really our knowledge, what we learn, unfolded through self-pulse reading. And one thing Mershiji would always emphasize, make sure you remind everyone learning self-pulse reading is, if you don't know the knowledge of self-pulse reading, is like a gardener forgetting to know water his own plants. So meaning by learning self-pulse reading, you are nourishing yourself. You are bringing the health. Any kind of imbalance you are addressing and you're rising the health. So like my father said.
And also having, intention. We always take, when we do puja or yajnas, we always take sankalpa, which is having intention is most important. So every day when you do your prayers or in meditation or before yoga, just, set an intention about having good health and what you can do to create that. So that's most important.
And without giving every individual, even if one is missing, it cannot be. For every individual, the health consciousness, health knowledge is very important. Without giving the health knowledge, we cannot create the disease to society. And how is it possible? By treating, when person comes with the disease, by treating the disease, it cannot be possible. And by giving, how much you can give, the teaching about the health, not possible. So say only through the self-pulse reading, every individual can be educated. And before that, as Maharshi said, that at least one mother at home, because mother feels everything and cooks the food for everybody, according to everybody to be satisfied. So in the same way, mother can make sure that health consciousness is spread. So now we can teach. It is very simple, the knowledge to learn self-pulse reading. Based on this, even when we are teaching this, we are giving the knowledge, the basic fundamentals. You don't think that, oh, within this short period, how can we learn? But you practice every day, again and again and again, never tired, as many times as possible. You will learn, you will know. You may get a lot of questions. Don't worry, feel the pulse. Whenever the questions, feel the pulse. Then your feeling the pulse will answer your questions. And even whatever, like today when we were teaching to the children, they were saying that, I am feeling headache under this finger. So then, okay, feel, no problem. So you have the headache. So then when they felt, they said that there is no more headache. Like that.
So it is
So now you
healing also.
Yeah, very much self-healing. So now teach the, yes.
So as any knowledge, some rules, some things to keep in mind. And also let's see how much time we have.
How much time we have now?
Yes, we have still enough time. You take time as much as you need.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
It looks very nice group. Yadranko, because it is with the yoga what it is happening, and Yadranko is doing such a great job with the yoga. He is spreading that consciousness, unity consciousness. Yoga means unity, combination, unity consciousness. He is doing great job. Very good.
Thank you, Dr. Raj.
And really happy when, such knowledge that Mershiji, spread all these great, whether it's my father, Yadraktoji, everyone. We've been so fortunate to meet all the greats and learn and share the knowledge. And by sharing, it further adds to the knowledge. And as every knowledge has some rules we can add, let's say very simple, very basic. We need the three fingers. The three fingers, if the nails can be as short as possible, so that, we are feeling with the tips of the finger. And male, right hand, and female, left hand. So meaning For men, we feel on the right hand with your left hand, resting your right hand on the left hand and feeling the pulse. Similarly, for female, resting the left hand on your right hand and feeling with the three fingers. So this is one rule you can follow, right for male and left for female. And now, very simple, we will start with where to feel the pulse. So again, very simple, like no need to be confused. If you raise your hand, I'm raising my right hand to show. So if you draw an imaginary line through your index finger, so see here, my index, this line is coming in between the exactly at the radial artery. But then there are certain structures where here you cannot feel the artery. Here also you cannot feel. Exactly as if nature has arranged for the three fingers to feel here. The radial artery is exposed here in the radial groove. So under your thumb at the root, you feel a slight bony prominence. And if you go further down where it ends, there you bring back, you can bring your
Place
index.
index finger there, and then next to that middle finger, and then the ring. So this is the place where you feel the pulse. So like this, it is very difficult and not comfortable. So always, like you can rest for women, it's left hand. So you rest your left hand on the right palm and you fold your fingers and then feel the pulse.
So for showing,
So
we
like
are
this.
showing like this, because this is when you are feeling others, there will be the easiest, the comfort. So, but when you are feeling for self, we have this tendency to hold like this, or sometimes we do that. So like that, be very comfortably placing the hand on the other hand and making sure like you hold your guitar, or so bending the fingers in a way that they naturally, when you raise them, they're different sizes, but when you fold, they're equal. So similarly, when you just feel the bony prominence, you come down and come up the imaginary line. So everyone can feel the pulse. And before we take the next step, we would like to ask if everybody is able to feel the pulse, or anyone who wants to say they are unable to.
Yes, please. Someone can say his experience.
I'm feeling the pulse on my index and middle finger.
Very good.
Very good. Which is the strongest?
Well, I think I have to concentrate, but the first impression was they're all the same. Both are like equal.
Both are equal.
Yeah, but I have to concentrate now to really feel which one is harder.
No concentration, no concentration. Whatever the information comes, innocent. What it comes to your mind, index and middle finger. Index and middle finger means there is something which is something with the bowel movements or excretory functions, and the something it is together related with your digestion.
Here, I can say now that it's index finger more.
Index finger. It means something with the elimination.
Okay, thank you.
Is it correct?
I've been sick for days. I had some cold.
Yes, that is the elimination. Because the toxins elimination and the eliminatory factors, they are more focused. And the quality of rest is not enough.
and anyone who cannot feel, so that we can at least see if they're having any difficulty, because it is that simple.
Maybe we can see the video, like then we can, know. when
Whoever
they are
is
feeling
speaking,
pulse.
yeah.
So
But the
maybe-
voice may get disturbed if it is with video, may not be clear or
No,
what?
you can put it on mute and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And anybody can message if they're not feeling the pulse. And if not, then we can proceed to the next step. So it seems everyone felt the pulse. And in pulse, very important is it is the knowledge. That's why there are no books written on it. And it is direct Shruti and Smriti. By speaking, when we say, you experience it, and then the question comes, and then the answer. So there are certain knowledge that it is going back and forth through question and answer. By experiencing it, the knowledge gets enlivened. Like knowledge is structured in consciousness. So pulse is enlivened through practical practice, like, when you're practicing it. So it looks like this is all clear to everybody. The pulse is felt. And then if this is clear, that, where you feel always, because there can be that sometimes you may not keep the fingers at the right place, up and down, and you may be just feeling two fingers and you're not able to feel the other. So always, whenever that confusion happens, remember this point again: imaginary line, the in between the radial groove, the radial artery, right after the bony prominence, you come up.
Doesn't matter whether you are feeling under one finger or two fingers or three fingers or nothing. Don't worry.
Just practice.
Just practice.
As when we were children, we always used to recite the shlokas and we didn't understand even a word. But with recitation, slowly the meaning, it unfolds. So like that, just innocently feel your pulse and you will understand.
Then,
May I ask something?
yes.
I can, you cannot see me, but maybe you hear me. In the beginning, I had the index finger and the middle finger. It was beating. And then it was away and the third was beating. I don't know.
What was beating?
In the beginning, the index finger and the middle finger was beating.
Yeah.
Ding dong, ding dong. Huh?
Yes.
And then ding dong, ding dong. And then it was going away slowly. It was going away. And the third finger was making a little beat. Not
Very
so
good.
much, not so much like the first two, but it was, the third was beating.
Very good. What happened when you started to feel that index middle finger dancing in between, and then you had some kind of a surprise feeling? What is it? Like that, some curiosity developed.
Ah,
And I don't know whether from that curiosity generally something to be enlivened, but instead of that, actually, because when you felt under the ring finger means that is mostly indicates with the bliss.
oh, nice,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Right.
And actually that it is with normal bliss, it may not be that much quickly. And only it can happen mostly this kind of the pulse, which immediately arised, is either you are long meditator?
Yes,
Yes.
33 years and more. Yes, yes.
That's
Siddha.
And Siddha, you see, that's it.
Yeah.
And you had today very good meditation also.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's
Not
it.
so bad.
And
Very good.
giving everyone through your pulse bliss to all of us too. We agree.
Okay, thank you very much.
We were saying pulse is also self-healing. So it is, after the first and second middle finger, you felt, the ring finger.
Yes.
So it was also self-healing. There was some imbalance, maybe, tiredness or something, indigestion or something. Then later on, that was also balancing and, self-healing. So that can also be there.
Yeah, another thing also, yesterday you had some heavy food.
Chocolate.
Yes, that's it.
I'm honest. Chocolate. Yes,
So that
yes.
is immediately healed, that is eliminated, and you got the bliss.
Okay. Thank you. I got the bliss from you. Okay.
Yes. And one of the main with the pulse, you may be thinking like, okay, now I feel, and maybe the time will not be strong enough. So also to tell you that the number of times you feel the pulse, because you are self-witnessing. Now you are addressing your pulse change before and after every day, from sunrise to sunset, or from waking up to going to bed. You're documenting now. So document every step. When you wake up, feel the pulse. When before breakfast, after breakfast, before lunch, after lunch, every step you can document.
Thank you. I will do. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And for everybody, this instruction. Yes. Any more questions? We cannot see you when you are asking the questions.
Because I think there is need for
Yes, maybe another question.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would love to put my camera also, but the host, I guess Yadranko, needs to allow it for me to do so.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So maybe
doesn't
we
matter.
can just
We-
everybody can be on.
Yes,
mute.
you can open your camera normally, so everybody can open on their own, so it's free.
No, so it's telling me I cannot. I need to wait for the host to allow me.
Just a second.
Now it looks like,
Yeah.
because we
Let us
saw
see.
somebody.
But you
Yes.
can hear.
Yes,
Yes.
we can see.
Okay.
Good.
Great. Yes. So I was wondering, so what I feel depends a lot on how strong, how much pressure I put on my fingers. So I wonder which is the correct pressure to use.
Don't worry about that now. Means you got the question, means you enliven in the whole group for the answer. You will be answered yourself. So what you have to do now, whatever the pressure you feel comfortable, and with how much pressure you can get some information, that much is enough. And later automatically you will be knowing that how much pressure it is to be applied, and automatically the pulse instructs you the pressure, how much you have to apply.
Mhm.
Don't worry.
And it should be pleasant feeling
Yes.
when you feel your pulse. The
Yes.
pressure also.
Yes.
That's why one of the instruction is short nails are not too sharp, that you're feeling like you're pinching, because after the pulse, you should not have all those nail marks on the pulse, meaning it should be pleasant enough to that you get the information, but it is not, creating that pressure.
Thank
And
you.
of course, one of the instruction, Mahashiji emphasized when we were children, like he would repeat every time we would go, said, give the importance of self-pulse reading, but also make sure that everyone feels their pulse while listening to Samaveda and Gandharveda. Either 5 minutes, 15 minutes, how you feel, but that is very much healing. Meaning, when you're feeling, when you're addressing and the body and all the 5 elements expressing through these 3 fingers, addressing different issues, and while you're listening and feeling the pulse, you will see one by one balancing, because that's the physiology, constantly trying to create balance. Any imbalance, anything lower, anything higher, creating the balance. So again, also keep this in your practice.
All you can witness that what it is happening in your physiology.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jai Gurudev, Dr. Raju. Jai Gurudev.
Nice to see you.
Jai Gurudev. Feeling the pulse, I was surprised to feel that there was a very clear, a warm feeling under 3 fingers at the same time. And I was puzzled because last week my physician told me that in the ultrasound he detected a non-alcoholic fatty liver. You mentioned that one, and I was expecting to feel some fatty liver in the pulse, but it just felt balanced. So I was puzzled how this balanced, nicely warm, pleasant feeling under 3 fingers is connected to a fatty liver, despite of 3 panchakamas in the last 3 years, and it's still it's still fatty.
Main thing, while you are feeling the pulse, don't expect something. Don't look for something with your intention. That is the most important thing. Means you are looking for something what you want. So why do you give that rise? Why do you give that sankalpa? Already when you have the fatty liver, then why do you want to make that more fatty liver? So because of that, you cannot feel what you are expecting. Innocence. Innocence is the most important thing. So when you maintain the innocence, you will feel whatever it is there. And that you will notice slowly, because it is in the very beginning. And another thing, when you are in the group consciousness, you are feeling the pulse of the total group also. It is connected. In that, in the beginning itself, if you start to locate it, like for example, some 1,000 people are talking at one time, you cannot really hear any one person's voice whom you want to hear. It is in the same way. When you are feeling, so it is under the influence of the group consciousness also. So when you are in the group consciousness, it is good to put the attention on the group consciousness, and that is the one slogan, the health. Feeling the health. When you are feeling, because of that, it is said that self-pulse reading. When you are feeling yourself in your family, in your room, when you are practicing, and even if you are in some group, what you have to do when you are slowly practicing, following like that, like when you are meditating, it is like, it is only on the mantra, like that. That's what it happens. So don't worry about the fatty liver, and don't worry about whatever it is happening. And when you feel that self-pulse reading regularly every day and automatically, then you will get some in your consciousness, in your thoughts, in instructions, and you may get the thoughts what way you are getting the instructions. You have to listen to the instructions, either through the food or through your routine or through your some kind of the changes, or maybe with the water or hot water, all different things. You will get the instructions. Oh, I should drink this. I should have this. I should have this vegetable. Like that, you will get instructions.
Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev.
Wonderful question.
Any more?
So we can.
How much time we have?
Yes, Dr. Raju. So we can still 10 minutes take. More.
Okay. So in 10 minutes, if anybody has any questions, but always practicing, practice again. Don't forget your fingers mostly on your pulse. For men, on your own right hand. For ladies, on your own left hand. So this is always, you have to get into the habit.
And when there is the feeling of congested, you can readjust, no problem.
Yes.
You can again release and again feel the pulse, no problem. The pulse will be changing, again nothing. You are not searching for anything. You are not searching a pulse. You are feeling whatever the physiology, the body is presenting.
Anybody felt? Yes?
Sorry, do you want to continue? I can ask later.
No, you ask.
Because I mean, I hear you clearly, but sometimes I don't understand, but I just want to confirm. Are you saying that by placing the fingers and feeling the pulse, that's enough to do the self-healing even without no knowledge of what kind of pulse is it, how is it beating, and so on and so on?
Yes, you are
Okay.
right.
Thank
You are right. What happens here, you see, as I said, that in your brain, it is the total universal library is there. So when you are feeling, you are making the connection in your consciousness, like it may be the body and mind coordination and the health consciousness and all different coordination with all these things, and unity consciousness and all these things. They are like what I was saying, that what Yadramko is doing with the yoga. It is like yoga. He is uniting with the yoga, teaching yoga. In the same way, all this yoga, by feeling with your 3 fingers itself, it is yoga combination. And when you are touching with your body and mind and self. With all these things, you are making that togetherness, yoga. And when they are meeting together, then automatically what happens? Oh, this is something. Let it be. Let us make comfortable. Make ourselves adjusting like that. So that coordination, which automatically happens. So don't worry about it like that, what it is happening and how it is happening. Just feeling the pulse, it makes that kind of that balancing, because you are reminding to your physiology. First, it starts with your individual consciousness. It is nothing but you are reminding about yourself. You have forgotten about yourself. Already Mother Nature, because it is like there is a lot of knowledge. When we are entering on this planet, we had a lot of memory of so many different things with the past and so many, all these karmas and all these things. When immediately after the delivery, at that time with that stress, Mother Nature makes to forget everything, only to remember about your present life. It is already fixed. Like, for example, if you see with your daily practice, with your daily all these things, practices and all these things, your routine and all, what are you doing every day? It is almost all 90%, even 95% maybe maximum people, they are repeating the yesterday, the same today. Eating, sleeping, taking time for different things and all these things like that. What you are beginning, anything it is, leaving all these things, eating, sleeping and all these routine things which you are repeating every day the same, new things are only very few. Even though you have forgotten yesterday for today, but still you are repeating the same today, and you are going to repeat the same tomorrow also. It is going to be happen every day. Because of that, Mother Nature gave for us, there are certain kind of natural diseases. Sahaja Vyadhi. What are those? Hunger, thirst, old age, sleep. What they are reminding? They are reminding each one about something. Like the sleep. If you take the sleep, you are taking for deep rest you are getting and all these things like that. But what it is reminding, you see, this sleep is nothing but like when you leave your body after the death. This is how it is going to be. You will be actionless. So this is the end. Like, for example, this is reminding today that this is today's end. Tomorrow, you are going to start new life. So in the same way, with the birth, you are forgetting all the past. And you are starting, when you are born, immediately you are starting with the first breath, your new life. Whether you remember it or not, if you remember, if you remind yourself about your yesterday, you will be ending up only, even you may not be able to do completely what you had done yesterday, because your memory will be consumed in remembering that also. If you don't remember, at least in repeat, in routine, you are continuing, and something at least new you can start. It is in the same way you are reminding yourself about your health when you are feeling your pulse. Like with the meditation, you are reminding, you are getting into you are diving into your consciousness. You are getting that unity consciousness.
And like similar to address what you said, today I was telling that child innocently asked why we should feel the pulse, what we'll get. And the answer, as simple is, if we head of the family, mother, father, or for children, for anybody, making sure you are heard. This is the problem in an office, everywhere, to the boss. We are always to our guru. We want to address the problem, and once it's heard, you are relaxed again. So similarly, once you're feeling the pulse and the information is given, then think about health, or without even thinking, the pulse is always trying to create the balance. So always before and after, and of course, feeling if the pulse is good or bad. So by that, you will know what is the pulse information giving you. And again, that balancing, like my father was mentioning, Everything will come to you. It will guide you what vegetable to take, how to balance. Maybe I need to take hot water. Maybe it is the season, change of season. Maybe it is the air conditioning. Maybe I should turn off the fan. You know, only when you sit and you compose yourself and you feel the pulse. So even with this little information of how to feel, where to feel the pulse, without knowing too many details because of the time restriction, but still this will unfold a lot. And of course, with Yadrankoji, if needed, we will further elaborate and we will also teach.
And what you are doing this is simply the simple way to understand. You have everything in your physiology. You have that yatha pinde tatha brahmande yavanta lokaha tavanta purusha. As it is in macrocosmic, so it is in microcosmic. So all it is there. What you are doing, you are enlivening all your different energies, what is needed for the further step like that. In the same way, what is happening, even though we have given just that simple information, how to feel the pulse, that itself is very important. And what it is happening, the way how we, I will explain a little later, how it is that, how it happens. Nothing but it is like enlivening, because you have your guru also in your mind, in your brain, in your consciousness. It is nothing but enlivening that guru consciousness within you, reminding that your master, your teacher, your all these things to be enlivened, reminding, bringing back that memory. And how it happens, just it is through the consciousness when you are feeling it, and for which what it is needed. Like for example, there are for everything the knowledge. One thing, the purity of the knowledge is most important. If the purity of knowledge is well maintained, automatically through that knowledge you are getting it. And for example, for Vaidya, there are four things which are needed for the treatment aspect. Bhishak dravyan upasthata rogi pada chatushtayam. Bhishak, physician. Material, herbs, whatever you need to use. Staff, patient. These are four very important. And for four also, the minimum basic, there are so many things are there, but minimum basic four. Nothing can happen, even one is missing. And in the same way, for everyone, very, like for example, for the physician, there are so many qualities should be as a being to be a physician, so many qualities. But very minimum basic qualities are four. Again, very minimum. Dakshaha tirthartha shastrartho drushta karma shuchir bhishak. Dakshaha, capable of handling any situation. Tirthartha shastrartho, having the knowledge of all different sciences. If it is physician, means it is not enough to have the medical knowledge. You should have all different sciences also. Then only you can, because there are so many, like yoga, what I was saying. So yoga, very important, that combination. Tirthartha shastrartho, drushta karma, practically seeing. When you practically see, then your experience is different. Because of that, seeing so many, attending so many. For example, when with a big conference like 40 years before, maybe like that in India, when Maharshi gathered, there were 10,000 gathering, and many doctors were there. So at that time, I think, 30, 40 years in that period, that time the AIDS was so much. And the doctors, those who came for the conference, they were asking for the AIDS. And what medicine, what, like that, some patients, they cannot come, they are already on the deathbed, and we don't know whether still that person is alive or not. But if any medicine we can carry or herbs like that when they ask, then of course in Ayurveda it is explained. Ayurveda explained about all that nothing is new, no disease is new. They explained in the form of the Vata Pitta Kapha, in the form of the different things, very basic, fundamental with the 5 elemental, balance, imbalance, even with the disease also they explained. And even when I was giving the expert opinion, they said that in Ayurveda there is no AIDS. That time there was no AIDS, only it has come this time. I said that you open this chapter in the Charak Samhita, they had the Charak Samhita in the British Medical Council, and they opened, when they opened, I said that, you see all these symptoms, are they not like AIDS symptoms? They said yes. Even go further, when they went, they said that, oh, even the disease, it is not just from that person. It is even, it may be happening mostly because of their parents or something, those who are related in that connection. You see, and even it is mentioned that it is like the further development of the tuberculosis. So tuberculosis, it is in Ayurveda, it is explained 2 ways. So they convinced, they said that, oh, there is so much knowledge. In Ayurveda, everything it is explained, all it is there. So mainly like that, these qualities very important. Tirthatha Shastra to Drushta Karma. When we have seen practically the AIDS patients, the treatment quality changed. And Shuchi, purity. The purity is the most important. When we are teaching and when we are doing, for example, Yadranko was saying that in our family, there is one very special treatment for the ladies and those who don't have the children, and most of the gynecological problems like that, the banana treatment. In that, the purity is the most important based on that. If it is given with that, that works immediately within 2 minutes, immediately you can notice the difference. And by overnight, there will be the skin will glow like anything, acne on the face, skin changes like that. There are so many different things. If you see on the internet, Dr.J.R.Raju banana treatment or the rajusayurveda.com, in that also the banana treatment you can find out. So like these things, the purity very important. With the purity, the knowledge is like directly touching, enlivening your guru, your master. Through that, you are getting that purity of the knowledge. The pure knowledge is very important.
Yes. So I think time-wise, maybe we don't want to take too much time. But maybe with Yadranko-ji, you can be in touch again, so that if you have practiced enough and you need further awareness in this and you want to take further, we'll be more than happy. But with this limited time, I think this may be.
But if you practice, you don't need much time. It is very easy. We created 8 hours course for the self-pulse reading. Like, of course, 8 hours at a time, it may not be, some confusion may be there, but with the 1 weekend or 2 weekends, with the slow practice, you can become experts with better practice.
Excellent. So thank you very much, Dr. Raju and Pavani and Harsha, for your beautiful presentation about the teaching, very precious teaching on Ayurvedic pulse diagnosis. And in yoga, we do also one kind of diagnosis. It's called prana sparsha.
Yes.
It's the touch of the prana, means wherever you put the touch, you create connection of the consciousness with that area, and then the flow of consciousness is the flow of prana. So it starts immediately enlivening that aspect and bringing life force there to normalize the functions. And in yoga, we use the touching of the torso from on different levels according to this Muladhara level, Svadhisthana, Nabhi, Manipura, and all the levels of the function of the Vayus, Prana, Apana Vayu, as internal movement responsible for the expanding, retracting, that pulsation. So as there is the artery has the walls, and inside there is some flow of the life energy. So like this, the torso, walls of the torso, you touch from the side, and inside is also pulsating the life energy in the form of prana, apana, vayu function. And it's a very interesting practice, very simple. And I will be very much interested that we organize some seminar with you. You know, we can do it online, even like, as you said, weekend. Seminar for learning self-pulse diagnosis with more time that you can elaborate more. And otherwise, we will be very happy to have you in Croatia again after many years that you come and that we organize some activities, or we come to India, maybe also, and enjoying the Panchakarma in Hyderabad at your place. And along with that, some teaching from your side.
Yes.
And so there is all possibilities. We will do something for sure.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
You are doing great job.
Yes.
All the best. Good success.
Yes. Thank you very much. And thank all those who were present on this webinar. And it will be available on the YouTube. In the YouTube channel, the recording of this webinar. So, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Thank you.